Tough night for us, obviously. Far and away our worst in terms of points given up defensively in the league. But actually, our first shot defense was pretty good, but we gave up way too many second chance opportunities. And then we were just fighting from behind all night. We never could really, get ourselves over the hump. Felt like it was an 8-point game for the entire second half. Really, every time I looked up at a timeout, it was 8. We just never could really put the pressure on them in a one possession game to really make them have to make plays. And certainly made some really silly fouls to help keep that distance. So, but credit to Texas. I thought they were the aggressor from the start of the game, particularly on the rebounds, and played pretty well. We just not good enough on the road to get the job done.
Mike, what was it about your defense tonight that was the struggles?
That's a good question. I'm not, Jacob, I'll have to go back and watch the film. We didn't have the resistance at any part of the floor, really. I got to figure out what exactly it was. I don't know if it was that they adjusted how they were attacking us, because obviously we defended them much better at our place. So figure out what it was that they made an adjustment on that. Maybe somehow we see them in Kansas City, we can make an adjustment also.
What was the fouling too? You mentioned a lot of fouls. Do you see anything there that you can correct off the top of your head, or is it just going to?
Yeah, some of them were just poor positioning. I mean, we reached, we went for steals late. We were just out of position a lot. Tonight felt like we were always reacting to what they were doing instead of kind of taking a fight to them, which is what we talked about doing. So a lot of fouls just come from being, if you're out of position, you got to try to catch up, and they make you pay.
It was a low-scoring game in Stillwater. What were kind of the differences in this game and the past game with them?
I think there was a lot more transition opportunities both ways. Both teams, I think, made a conscious effort to try to get out and run more. Hard to say it after you give up 89. I still think we're a good defensive team. That those are the same guys, right? That held these guys at 56 and have held most of our opponents well below any kind of number like this. So I just think there was a conscious effort for both teams to try to get easier baskets, and they did it on the offensive glass much better than we did. And they got to the free throw line and converted.
No Musa today. What's kind of the update on him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that song went down the other day. We kind of re-aggravated the same injury. So we're just fighting to try to make sure we get him as healthy as possible. And when we do that, we'll get him back out there.
Mike, they're not very big, but they bring some guys off the bench. Cunningham gave him some big minutes. What problems does he possess? Because it seems like he's shooting it better than he has in the past.
Well, Brock is one of the more intelligent players that I've coached against. I've seen the kid play for a long time. Since he was in high school, he's always been that kind of cerebral player who can defend multiple positions, understand spacing on the floor, isn't afraid to take big shots when his team needs it. And obviously he's been around this program a long time. He knows what it means, being from this city, to put that uniform on and play with the kind of pride that it takes to be successful. They got a lot of length. They don't have a lot of girth, but Dessou and Mitchell and just really, really good basketball players. Brock's one of them.
Mike, is Texas athleticism one of the rare problems you guys have? Seems like the athleticism really kind of is an issue for you. It's rare for you guys.
Yeah, it's very rare that we see a team that's equal to or more athletic than us across the board. And obviously, I don't think they're overwhelmingly more athletic, but I think in terms of their roster, if you look at just athletically, they may have an edge there. So it's something that we got to adjust to. As we go through the league, I can't think of who else we haven't played, but we've seen most everybody at this point. And we don't have to see these guys again unless we see them in Kansas City, but they're a really, really good basketball team.
Bryce came in today, I think, shooting 40% from three. What's going wrong for him at the foul line?
Wow, that's
the million-dollar question.
Clearly, he's not a bad free throw shooter. I don't know if it's something psychological for him here. And it kind of dates back early. This was something that kind of reared its ugly head in the Southern Illinois game. I can still remember vividly not being able to close that thing out at home. So we just got to keep working through it. He's still shooting the ball from three well, and it's just I don't know if he's not seeing it, maybe we need to adjust his mechanics, but it's certainly an issue right now for us.
Mike, what did you feel like went wrong? You cut it to last 3.5 minutes the first half, and Texas scores the last 5 points in the first half. They get the first 5 points in the second half. What do you feel like happened in there to let them, where they kind of pulled away right there?
Yeah, I'll be honest, we just didn't play with enough toughness in either situation to end the half. We got sped up, we didn't execute, really, really simple things. Like just getting the ball in bounds was a chore. And then just executing our entry passes and offense, really kind of, we played on our heels in both of those segments. And I don't know if it was fatigue. We obviously were dealing with some foul trouble in the first half. But not to make excuses, Texas took advantage and played better than we did to finish the half and start the half. And basically that was the difference in the game. I mean, we never were really able to recover from that run and get it back to where, it was a 3-point game again.
We've got some weather back home. Questions for the student athletes?
John Michael, you kind of, I mean, I don't say you're in a slump, but you've struggled the last few weeks. Do you feel like better tonight shooting the ball? Kind of what'd you feel about the way you played tonight?
Well, I don't really say I play good whenever we lose, because, ultimately we play to win. I think I helped a little bit positively, but there was a lot of negatives that went wrong in the game that I was responsible for. But, yeah, I have been in a little slump, but my coaches and my teammates, they just keep giving me confidence. I'm still getting extra shots up, just seeing the ball go in, so it was good to see a couple go in, but I would rather got to win and had 0 points, than lose and have 18 points. So, but it is good to see it go through.
Woody, Mike kind of mentioned it felt like you guys were down 8 for the entire second half. What do you kind of attribute that to, being out on the floor?
Like Coach Mike said, it's just toughness, like they just out-toughed us on the glass, like he said, our first shot defense was pretty good. We just couldn't come together and get that defensive rebound going to the other end in transition, If we get them stops and get the rebounds, we can get on transition and score, and it's a whole different ballgame at that point.
For either one of you guys, a simple question. You've had frustration this season, but what was the level of frustration tonight? Not being able to close the gap, foul troubles, things like that. What was that level?
It was just things that we normally execute well on the defensive end when we didn't do it. It's just, it was just tough to swallow, because that's what keeps us in games and helps us close games. And not to be able to do our bread and butter, just it kind of just it hurts, because that's what you're good at, and if you're not doing that, you get a little down in the game, just thinking which way is it gonna go. But we just got to go back to the drawing board and practice and get our identity back. We can't let this loss determine the rest of our season, because we still have, I think, about 10 more games left in conference. And with this team, we got a lot of guys who believe in each other, and we believe in the process that the coaches present in front of us, and we just gonna execute the best way we can.
This is for either player. What would you say to a future team who's about to face Texas? How would you recommend defending against Texas?
Just you gotta make sure to keep them off the glass at all times. Like they're a good offensive team, but if you keep them off the glass, you limit their second chance points, and it's an anybody ball game at that point when you come down on offense and execute. So I'll just say keeping them athletic guys off the glass, like Coach Mike said, they just as athletic as us, So you gotta do what you gotta do to get that defensive rebound, so you can get them offensive transition points and execute on the offensive end.
We'll wrap it up there. Thank you.